Some days don't just end, they leave you empty. Perhaps it was your strength, your peace, or the fragile hope you carried through each moment. As the night wraps itself around you, what remains isn't quiet, it's a soul-deep ache. You prayed, you tried, you held it all together with trembling faith. But now, in the hush of your room, there's a sacred vulnerability, not just tiredness, but a longing to be held. You've carried so much, and tonight, your heart whispers, "I can't keep carrying this alone." This isn't weakness, it's the quiet place where God meets us. Not when we're perfect, but when we're poured out. There is a shadow, steady and holy, that welcomes the weary. You don't need to fix anything right now. You don't need the answers. What you need is shelter, peace that doesn't require performance, love that doesn't demand explanation. And this is what God promises, a refuge, a secret place where those who dwell in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Breathe slowly now. Let this breath carry no pressure, only permission. Permission to let go, permission to be still. Because even if this day took more than you expected, it didn't take God. It didn't take His presence, His covering, or His mercy. He's not disappointed in your fatigue. He is drawn to it. He doesn't turn away from your breaking point. He meets you there. So come just as you are, not as the fighter, but as the one who needs healing. You are not alone. Even now, in the silence, He surrounds you. God, thank you for being my refuge tonight, for knowing the burdens I can't name, for covering me with grace I didn't earn. Thank you for the still waters and the green pastures. Even when I can't see them, I trust they're near. You restore my soul. You prepare a table in the presence of what scares me. And your rod and staff, they comfort me. Let my mind settle under your hand. Let my body rest beneath your peace. Let my spirit trust that even in the darkest valley you are near. And surely your goodness and mercy will follow me, even here, even now. Amen. There is a place beyond the noise and striving, a quiet refuge not made of walls, but of presence. It cannot be bought or bargained for. It is only found in stillness. Psalm 91 doesn't demand, it invites. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. It doesn't say to rush in during storms, but to dwell, to make it your home. We often treat God's presence like a refuge we retreat to when life breaks. But His shadow was never meant to be temporary. It's not a panic room, it's a permanent shelter. A place of nearness, not just safety. To be under His shadow is to live close enough to feel His whisper over the world's noise. To know that even when you don't see the threat, He already has. That even when you don't have words for the fear, He is already covering it. His shadow is offered, not forced, and just like a shadow in the natural world, it cools, it shields, it softens. But you must choose to step under it. Not through effort, but through surrender. You don't earn this grace, you enter it. And tonight, you're invited to return, to stop trying to hold everything together, to stop bracing for the next blow and simply rest beneath the Almighty's care. Let your room be holy ground tonight. Let your bed be the altar where your burdens fall. Let your breath slow into stillness, into sacred quiet. You are not exposed. You are not abandoned. You are under mercy, under care, under the strong and steady shadow of the one who never leaves. Sleep here, not in fear, but in nearness, not in panic, but in peace. Sacred, protective, peace. It's in the quiet that fear often speaks the loudest. When the world slows and the distractions dim, your thoughts grow bold. What if I didn't do enough? What if tomorrow breaks instead of builds? What if I'm not safe? These aren't loud fears, but they echo deep, beyond logic's reach. Yet there is another voice that rises stronger, more faithful. Fear not, for I am with you. This isn't a suggestion, it's a sacred promise. not crafted in comfort, but forged in fire. Isaiah 41 tells us not that trouble will disappear, but that God will appear, that he comes with strength, not shame, that his help arrives not with hesitation, but with holy intention. And if the weight on your chest tonight feels unbearable, you're not meant to bear it alone. Fear may whisper, but trust is louder when it's built not on answers, but on presence. You are not navigating this night by yourself. You are being carried by the one who commands peace even to the waves. Perhaps your fear tonight isn't the dark outside, but the unknown within. Regrets that linger, pressures that tighten, the ache of what you cannot control. But the one who holds the galaxies is not asking you to hold it all. He's asking you to rest, to trust that even when you feel undone, you are still being held. That even when fear creeps like a shadow, it cannot remain where his light dwells. You are not expected to be fearless. You are simply invited to be held. Place your hand on your heart now. Breathe in stillness. Breathe out surrender. Whisper into the silence, "I will not be afraid, for you are with me." Let those words echo louder than any doubt. Let that be your lullaby. Let it be the truth that steadies your soul. You are not unraveling. You are not abandoned. You are not alone in the night. You are covered, surrounded, and seen. Sleep now, not because the world is quiet, but because your God is near. Sleep is not surrender to weakness. It is surrender to trust. Not a sign of giving up, but a quiet act of giving over. When you close your eyes tonight, you are declaring a sacred truth. God, you are watching when I no longer can. Proverbs 3:24 whispers this comfort into your spirit. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Not restless, not anxious, but sweet, blessed, protected, complete. You've done enough for today. Truly, you have. There's nothing more you must hold, prove, or fix before resting. The thoughts that circle, the worries that linger, you are not required to sort them all before sleep comes. The one who never slumbers has already taken up your concerns. He isn't asking for perfection. He's inviting your pause, your trust, your surrender. Not as a last resort, but as worship. So let sleep become your sacred offering. Not the absence of effort, but the embrace of his protection. As your breathing slows and your limbs grow heavy, know that you are not drifting into darkness. You are being covered by light, by wings that never tire, by eyes that never close. Angels keep watch tonight. Not stories, but real guardians, silently stationed at your side. They don't need your awareness to do their work. They move at God's command, guarding the beloved. Lay your head down like grace itself holds your pillow. Let your soul feel the weight lift. You are not exposed. You are not unguarded. You are resting beneath the shadow of the Almighty. And in this rest, your spirit is renewed. Not just your body, but your being. Sleep now, not in fear, but in faith. Not because all is resolved, but because all is known. The Lord gives his beloved sleep, not as escape, but as healing. You are his beloved, and tonight your sleep is safe. Darkness can feel like a veil, quiet, heavy, and full of questions. As the world hushed, the thoughts you silenced all day begin to speak. What if I'm not enough? What if I'm alone in this? But Psalm 139 brings a holy assurance. Even the darkness is not dark to you. What confuses us does not confuse God. What hides us from others never hides us from him. The dark may make us feel unseen, but to God it is as clear as day. We often look for God in the light, in clarity, in celebration, in the obvious blessings, but he is just as present in the dim, just as near in the uncertainty. He does not wait for morning to begin his mercy. He's already here, already moving, already surrounding you. The dark is not darkness to him. It is a canvas where his peace is painted with quiet strength. He isn't frightened by your fears or distant from your doubt. He enters the stillness and fills it with his presence. Maybe tonight you carry hidden burdens, ones you can't even name, fears that return with every nightfall, wounds that ache more in the silence. But even here, even now, the God who lit the stars stands guard over your room. He does not need daylight to defend you. He does not need words to understand. You are not alone. The arms that hold you are not deterred by shadows. They strengthen in the dark. They surround without failing. They stay without question. So let the darkness be your sanctuary, not your fear. Let it remind you that faith glows brightest in what we cannot see. Whisper this into the quiet. Even this you see. Let that be your prayer, your confession, your rest. You don't need to understand it all. You don't need to fight to be found. You only need to be still and be held. Close your eyes, not to escape the night, but to meet the one who transforms it. Sleep because he is near. Sleep because even the darkness is light to him, and that light is enough. There is a quiet belief we often carry without noticing, the idea that to be protected, we must be perfect, that if we want God's favor, we need to prove we deserve it. But that is not the heart of God. His covering is not a reward for the righteous. It is a refuge for the weary. Psalm 91 opens not with conditions, but with compassion. It offers shelter, not because you passed a test, but because God's nature is faithful. His protection begins where your performance ends. Maybe today didn't feel like a spiritual victory. Maybe you fell short of your own hopes. Your prayers were scattered, your courage faded. But God is not keeping score. He is keeping you. His wings are not withdrawn when you falter. They extend even further. Like a mother covering her child with warmth and instinct, God gathers you, not because you proved worthy, but because you are already His. To let go of the striving, let go of the fear that you've missed something. You haven't. You're not outside the shelter. You're within it, covered not because of how strong you are, but because of how strong His love is. His mercy is not fragile. His protection is not conditional. It is rooted in who He is, not in what you've done. Breathe deeply now. Let grace become your blanket. Let mercy settle your mind. You are not being measured tonight. You are being met by a God who doesn't flinch at your flaws, who doesn't retreat from your regrets. He is still here, still covering, still good. You can rest not because everything went right today, but because His love never left. You are covered, fully, freely, forever, not because you earned it, but because He chose to give it, and He never changes. Let us pause, not to strive, not to explain, but to simply enter the stillness. This prayer is for the one lying awake, heart unsettled, thoughts circling like wind through an open field. For the one who wants to rest, but finds the quiet too loud. If that's you, let this be your covering. God of mercy and nearness, I bring before you the heart that feels fragile tonight, the soul that tries to be brave, but feels the tremble beneath, the one who longs to rest but is caught in the shadows of worry and what-ifs. For this beloved one, I do not ask for answers, I ask for presence. Let them feel you now, not as a concept, but as comfort, as the nearness that softens the weight pressing on their chest. Cover them, Lord, not because they performed well today, but because you are faithful. Quiet the noise in their mind, slow the beat of fear. Let your peace wrap around them like a warm blanket, holy and unseen. May their room become more than four walls. Let it become a sanctuary, a quiet cathedral of trust, where every breath is prayer and every heartbeat is held. Where fear lingers, speak your truth. They are not alone. They are not unprotected. They are not unloved. Replace every racing thought with your rhythm of peace. Let them fall asleep, not from exhaustion, but from assurance. Assurance that you see, that you guard, that you remain, and as they drift, Let this truth settle deep. I am seen, I am safe, I am loved. In the name of the shepherd who stays through every hour of night. Amen. There is a sacred difference between visiting and dwelling. To visit is to come in moments of need. To dwell is to stay, to root, to live. Psalm 91 doesn't invite us to pass through God's presence. It invites us to remain there. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High, not retreats, not short stays, but a home, a place your soul returns to again and again, not just when storms rage, but when the skies are clear. So many of us reach for God like a spare key, only when we're locked out of peace. But the secret place was never meant to be an emergency shelter. It's a permanent invitation. And the beautiful truth? God never tires of you coming back. He doesn't measure your worth by how long you've stayed away. He simply opens the door every time and whispers, "Welcome home." To dwell is to build your life around His nearness, to let His presence be the walls that hold you, the roof that covers you, the ground beneath your every step. It means making peace your default, not your exception. It means knowing that you are not wandering, you are rooted, that you are not spiritually homeless. You belong right here, under the shadow of the Almighty. So breathe deep and say it softly. I dwell here. I belong here. This is my home. Let that truth become your rest. Let it calm your fears, silence regret, and anchor your thoughts. You don't have to leave in the morning. You don't have to wait for crisis to return. Stay, sleep, rise, repeat, because when you dwell, not just visit, every night becomes sacred ground, every morning becomes a new mercy, and every breath becomes part of a life lived inside the shelter of the Most High. You've carried more today than most will ever know. The battles didn't happen out loud, but they were real. You fought to stay steady, to show up, to smile when it hurt, to move forward when your soul wanted to freeze. And now, even as your body lies still, your spirit is still clenched, still bracing, still listening for what might go wrong. But beloved, the fight is over for tonight. You are not called to strive your way into rest. You are called to lay it down. Psalm 91 is not a victory song for the tireless. It is a shelter song for the weary. It speaks to the soul that's been stretched too thin, to the heart that has prayed and still feels pressure, to the mind that just wants a break. And God says, come in, not when you figured it out, not when you fixed it all, but now, as you are, just tired enough to let go. Let tonight be the sacred turning point, not the end of your strength, but the beginning of your surrender. You're not giving up, you're giving over. You're not walking away from the battle, you're walking into arms that never grow tired, into the shadow that already surrounds you, into the peace that asks nothing but trust. Say it softly over your thoughts. I release the fight. I trust the Father. And let that truth move deeper with every breath, into your shoulders, your chest, your mind. Let it unravel the tight places and soften the fear. You are not less because you're tired. You are wise for knowing where to lay your burdens. You are not careless. You are cared for, deeply, fully, eternally. Sleep now, not because it's all fixed, but because it's all held. Rest, not because you earned it, but because God gives it freely. And tonight, may your soul finally exhale. The fight is not yours to finish. It never was. And now, as the hush of night wraps gently around you, may this sacred stillness be more than silence. May it be sanctuary, a place where your soul finds what it's been longing for all along. Not quick answers, not an escape, but presence, the kind that asks nothing of you but your trust, the kind that holds space for your breath, your burdens, your being. If your spirit feels fragile, let it. That tenderness is not weakness, it is sacred. If your heart aches, let it echo, for in that vulnerable space, Heaven leans close and names you beloved. You are not hidden in this dark. You are not forgotten. You are fully seen, deeply known, endlessly loved. Rest now, not because life is quiet, but because God is near. Not because the path is clear, but because His presence is sure. You've returned to the shelter. You've released what wore you down, and now the shadow of the Almighty settles over you, not like a cloud, but like wings. Not like a burden, but like a blanket. You are no longer a visitor in His presence. You dwell here. You belong here. And tonight, under His covering, you are safe. As the final breath of this day passes, let these truths guide your rest. What fear is still gripping your trust? Where have you been shielding yourself instead of surrendering? What would it look like to live, not just sleep, under His shadow? Say softly to your soul, I dwell under the shadow of the Almighty. Even the darkness is light to my God. When I lie down, I will not be afraid. And if this night prayer gave your soul peace, let this be your place of return. Subscribe. Rest here again tomorrow. Now close your eyes, not in fear, but in faith. Not in tension, but in trust. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not unguarded. You are shadowed by the Most High, and under His wings, you sleep in peace. And now, as your soul settles beneath the hush of heaven, may every unspoken ache be wrapped in mercy, too deep for words. Let the quiet carry you to the place where burdens fall silent, and grace breathes softly into the hollow places. This moment is not empty. It is full of the God who does not rush, who does not demand, who simply stays. You are not drifting. You are cradled. You are not lost. You are known. The shadows no longer threaten. They have become the sacred veil beneath which love whispers your name. And as the night deepens, may peace rise gently to meet you, not as something earned, but as a gift given, freely, fully, forever. Sleep now, beloved, beneath a sky watched by the one who never turns away, and may His nearness be the last thing you feel before your breathing slows into rest.